Hello and welcome to the Mollie Summer Show. This week on the show, I'm sharing with you how I manifested a trip to Paris through my healing journey using the law of attraction. So get ready, bring your hands and feet inside of the car, and I hope you enjoy the ride. If you follow me on social media, you'll know that I just came back from an amazing trip that started in Paris, France, and ended in Barcelona, Spain. This was an amazing trip, and it was a gift from the universe, an opportunity that I allowed into my existence, and a beautiful lesson in manifestation. Today, I want to share with you this amazing journey that culminated in this trip. I'm going to share with you the steps that I took to clear out my resistance and allow this gift to come to me. But before I tell you about the trip, let's go back 2 years. It was December 2021, and I was lying in bed scrolling through TikTok. There was a video about Paris, and instantly my inner guidance came alive. She said to me, "You're going to Paris." To which I said, "Sure." Not really believing my inner guidance back then. But as I've come to learn, when I don't listen to my inner guidance, she just gets louder and louder. And so she said, "You better brush up on your French." I graduated from French immersion 25 years ago, almost 25 years ago. And I think I've only used it maybe 4 or 5 times. So listening to my inner guidance, because she was getting so insistent, I downloaded the Duolingo app and began practicing. I began imagining myself walking through the streets of Paris, talking to the Parisians, and just loving every moment of the experience. I spent the next 3 months every night on my phone before going to bed, 20 minutes of Duolingo before falling asleep. But then, as we do, I began to lose interest because I wasn't starting to see the results in my reality. So I kind of just forgot about it. Fast forward to this past January, when I was putting together my vision for the year. I knew I wanted to travel more this year, so I put Paris and Maui and Scotland on my vision board. I even bought a Parisian calendar that's literally hanging in my dining room. Then I began the process of aligning myself. Month by month, I became more and more aligned with who I am and letting go of resistance. I began sharing myself openly. And soon I began to make powerful and conscious connections with people, both in my community and new people coming into my community. There was no judgment of the unfolding of my year. There was only love and curiosity this year. I had a new willingness to share myself openly and vulnerably. Then in August, just 2 weeks before leaving for Paris, I was offered an opportunity to go. And at first, I'm going to admit, I was a little apprehensive. I heard my ego judge it. I heard my old scarcity mindset tell me that it was impossible. But instead of listening to this old way of being that I knew was no longer serving me in any way, and I no longer wanted to listen to, I said yes to the opportunity. And in doing so, I allowed the universe in. I allowed the universe to flow through me without resistance. Literally 2 weeks later, I was on a plane on my way to Paris. So how did I manifest this trip? If you understand the law of attraction, you know that it's absolute. I was just talking to my son this morning about gravity and the law of attraction. It's always working. Just like gravity, even though we can't see it, it is always bringing us exactly what we're asking for. Abraham Hicks describes it as ask and it is given. The universe wants to experience expansion through us. Abundance is always expanding. Wealth is always expanding because the universe is nothing but abundance. And when I say wealth, I don't necessarily mean just money. Wealth is an overflowing of well-being. Now, I'm going to admit here that I haven't always had this belief around wealth. I've spent the last year and a half dedicated to healing my abundance and wealth mindset. Just over a year ago, I didn't believe that I was capable of creating wealth of any kind in my life. I believed that I was somehow forgotten by the universe. 1 out of 7 billion people who was left out of our birthright that is abundance. This belief held me back for many, many years. Talk about an ego being sneaky. But this is what the ego is. It wears many masks, trying to restrict us from the capital T truth, which is that we are a part of nature. We are the universe. And as such, our natural birthright is abundance. Our natural state of being is the wealth of well-being that flows through everything. Because of these limiting beliefs in my past, I've been in that place where I had more money going out than I did coming in. I've had to make financial choices like choosing to file for bankruptcy. I've been so full of resistance of whose source was telling me that I sabotaged every single gift that I was given so that I could make sure that I was alone and that I could prove that I was the victim. This was the story that I was telling myself. And my beliefs around money and abundance were holding me prisoner. My beliefs around worth stopped me from even trying to step out of my comfort zone. And so, of course, my reality reflected those stories that I was telling myself. I was telling myself that I wasn't worthy of my soul's gifts and that I had to suffer through life, basically just waiting to die, which, of course, the law of attraction, I would have eventually manifested. But nothing changes in our reality unless we are willing to change our energy. And last spring, I got to the place where I took my power back from my ego. I was standing in the kitchen one day after a day full of anxiety, and I had just had enough. I grabbed the counter and literally yelled out in my kitchen, it's over. I'm done. I have had enough of this. And then I spoke to my ego and I said, you can no longer have control over my life. I am taking over from this moment. And I began committing to myself. I began committing to meditate or do breath work every morning for at least 20 minutes a day. Then I committed to going to bed early so I could meditate more, so I could learn how to float in the abyss of the quantum realm. And I kept this routine up for 400 days. Bit by bit, day by day, I aligned myself with my truth. And I began to let source energy flow through me. I began to learn how to trust that energy and surrender to it, allowing the universe to bring me what was meant for me. One day, as I sat in meditation talking to Source about abundance, I was floating in that nothingness of space, the void. To my eyes, it was empty. So I asked Source, please show me the abundance that I hear about so often. When I asked, a zipper opened in the darkness of space. And as it opened, it showed me what looked like on the other side of it, a great hall filled with gold. As far as my eyes could see, there were mountains of riches, of gold. There were rivers of silver and trees literally encrusted in rubies and diamonds and emeralds. And then Source said to me, all you had to do was ask. In that moment, I was flooded with relief. It was like a stone that had been blocking a dam was removed. Consciously, I began to listen to my inner guidance. Not all the time at first, because I was receiving a lot of inner guidance. But more and more, I began to listen to what I was hearing. This podcast, for example, was a suggestion from Source. They said, your voice is divine currency, so share it. So I said yes, and here I am sharing these stories with you. I began opening my energy channels in my body through breath, movement, and visualizations. If you want to learn more about this, there's a podcast I did a couple weeks ago that goes more into what the energy channels are, and I'll link that show in the show notes. I also began getting clear on what I wanted. At the beginning of this year, I started to write a list of 300 desires, which is way harder than you would think it is. The first 50 were easy, but after that, it began to trigger beliefs around asking. And so it was both healing and magic, because once I started releasing that resistance, it was easy to ask for 300 things. And soon, as I began to ask for more and more, the universe started bringing me things. This is such a powerful exercise in manifestation because it connects you with your desires. And because it's a joyous experience once you release that resistance, there's nothing stopping the universe from flowing back in. And you begin to see the outcome or the results shifting around you. And of course, I also got support from my own healers, because even healers need healers. I worked on my body with acupuncture and massage and Reiki. I worked on my subconscious mind through my own hypnotherapist coach. And together we did what I also do with my clients, which is finding these areas in our bodies that are holding resistance and old wounds to release them. These old wounds can be held from way back in the first part of your life when your subconscious mind is open. You may not even be aware of them consciously, but energetically, they are like those stones, stopping the flow and creating resistance. I also did my own subconscious healing, bringing together the masculine, my masculine, and my feminine into a union, a powerful union, which I'll do a podcast on later because it is a really powerful exercise and a very in-depth topic. And of course, I used my own personal coach to help me step into my most powerful self. But honestly, here's the most important part, which can be just as difficult because we judge our idea of how things are going to unfold. It's enjoying the process. Enjoying the process doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. It just means enjoying every single day as it unfolds. Releasing expectation, releasing your definition of what your journey should look like. So that day by day, little by little, it's actually fun to heal. It's actually fun to allow the universe to surprise you every day, to welcome in miracles, unexpected, fast shifts in your life that you hadn't planned for, but the universe was like, this has been for you the whole time. It was fun to dig into my subconscious mind and release blind spots. I let myself be supported by others. I invested in myself, knowing that the outcome was worth it. In those moments of frustration and despair, I leaned into what I call my abundance support team. These are my healers, my friends, and my community. Instead of ruminating on that energy of resistance and frustration and self-doubt, I was able to quickly release them and move forward. In between moments of pain, I laughed in the face of the process, releasing joyfully, knowing that it would lead me to where I wanted to go. There was one night in particular where I was with a healer friend of mine, and we were deep in ceremony, doing some really deep subconscious body work, moving energy that had been stored in my subconscious for a very long time. And I was sobbing and having what can only be described as contractions of release, like giving birth to the pain that I've been holding in my body. I was releasing this anger and grief that I had been holding on since who knows when. But in between these contractions, I was sobbing and tears were running down my face. I was laughing hysterically. And I was in complete bliss. He said to me that he had never seen anyone love pain so much. And I laughed because it wasn't that I loved the pain, but I was joyous because I knew it was the last time I was going to have to feel it that way. Because I knew that as I released that energy from out of my body, I was filling it with so much love. That every contraction, every moment of pain was worth it. And I think as women, we can understand this if we've had a child. The love that floods in makes the birthing process worth it. And that's what really deep healing is like. You are literally birthing a new life, a new you, in releasing all of that stuff that is no longer serving you anymore. And it's worth it. Everything up until this moment has been worth it because of the life that I have created and I know is manifesting into my reality. Every painful lesson was worth the lesson, because now I can pass that on to you so that you can learn from that. Every experience we're given is a gift. It may not be easy to see that in the moment, but if we're open to experiencing it without attachment and allowing the process, allowing the experience to unfold without labeling it, without holding on to it or being attached to it, every experience is a gift. And so this is why when this opportunity for Paris came along, I said, heck yes. Because I knew exactly what was happening. I knew the universe was bringing me this opportunity. I knew the universe was giving me exactly what I had been asking for. And who am I to turn down the universe? Who am I to say no to the universe wanting me to have this gift? Every time we say no to something that is amazing that we have been asking for, it's not holy, it's not humble, it's ego. It's ego, our ego, judging the gift as right or wrong, good or bad. And in that judgment, we block the miracle that the experience offers us. And so I loved every second of that trip. There were things during that trip that were activated inside of me. And I'm going to use the word activated here because it wasn't really a trigger like it used to be. It was an observance. Oh, there's that old way of being. I'm just going to watch it and I'm going to allow it to be seen. I'm going to allow it the space. And I'm going to just detach and be present in this incredible moment. And in doing that, every day of the trip was perfect. There was no conflict. There was only joy. Joy in the people we met, joy in our conversations, joy in getting lost, joy in the surprise, joy in the unfolding. And that is how you maintain your alignment so that when you come home, when you come back and you have experienced the whole thing, you can look at it objectively and say, this is what I enjoyed, and this is what maybe I didn't like. But not because I'm judging it, but just because it's not for me. And you can adjust what you ask for. And you can manifest the next thing. And that is fully experiencing your life. Because after every manifestation is the next manifestation, and the next, and the next, and the next. And that is fun. That's the ride, my friends. So what is it that you want? I dare you to dream. I dare you to dream big, to stretch yourself, to ask your inner guidance, what is it that wants to be birthed through me? Because whatever that answer is, That answer is unique to you. And your soul's gifts are going to align you and take you forward in the most joyous, wonderful way. Because only you can express that in this life. And that's what makes us all so special and so incredibly unique and beautiful and valuable. So I hope you enjoyed this story. I hope it inspires you to take action, to sit back and allow the universe to come to you. If you liked it, please comment, subscribe, hit that link, leave a review wherever you're at. Are you tired of feeling stuck, anxious, and lacking confidence? If you said yes to any of those, this is your sign that it's time to transform your life. Imagine having the courage to chase your dreams, to trust your path, to achieve financial freedom and reclaim your sovereignty. My proven custom coaching will support you in overcoming procrastination and indecision. Break free from that self-sabotage and frustration. Release the past into a future filled with abundance, health, and contribution. Experience the peace, the calmness, and the unshakable confidence that comes from within. Embrace your freedom and your excitement for life. Don't let fear of failure or scarcity mindset hold you back a moment longer. It is your time to say enough and reclaim your power. It's time to align yourself with your purpose, fulfillment, and that joie de vivre, that joy of life, love-filled and impact, being in harmony with your heart, with your inner guidance. It's time to say goodbye to the old paradigm and step into a life of clarity, that non-judgment and non-attachment. This October, I am opening 3 spaces for custom coaching spots in my calendar. These spots are highly valuable and life-changing. So are you ready to invest in your own life? If you said yes, head over to molliesummer.com/custom coaching and apply for one of these limited spots today. Be fast because these spots will fill up. Let's start building your journey towards more alignment, more heart-centered expression, and more joy right now.